Good afternoon, good morning, good evening, whatever time of day it is. I hope you're having a blessed one. All glory to God, praise Jesus. We woke up again, and it is a very nice day today in Charlotte, North Carolina. As you can tell by the attire, today's video is going to be about shifting. In particular, Charlotte, North Carolina. In the particular zones that I work in. So without further ado, let's get right to it.
Have mercy on me, have mercy on me.
All right, first and foremost, so with shifting in Charlotte, North Carolina, one thing you have to come to understand is if you're trying to do this full time and you want to make some spare money by taking a whole 9-to-5 situation and just going out and just shifting all day, you need to understand there's going to be points where it's going to be incredibly slow unless you're one who's going to travel a lot. This is going to be my first tip. Make sure you and your car can physically take this kind of a job. A lot of times, some of these orders, you're going to end up driving about 15, 20, sometimes 30 minutes away from the store you're shopping at. That means you're going to do a lot of wear and tear on your car. So from my personal experience, I started creating my own zone, which is like 2 or 3 different zones that are all strung together, which is Matthews, Weddington, and Ballantyne. When you look at a map of Charlotte, they're all kind of like this. Tip number 2, expect to sit around and wait. If you're doing this full time and you're going to go out for a 9-to-5, you're going to sit around and wait for a while. There's going to be points where you're sitting there doing nothing. You're waiting for an order. Unless you do want to travel. In Charlotte, my personal opinion, I would go and tap into each one of the zones that are available, okay? If there's available orders, just kind of drive around for your first day. Now, obviously, don't drive all the way around Charlotte, North Carolina or anything like that. But I'm saying just tap into a few zones and see what the tips are like. The reason I say that is because I did this for about 4 months, and I did it every single day, 5 days a week. And in those 4 months, I started to create my own little database and data sheet of where the best tips were, which locations didn't tip very well, and which locations didn't tip at all. And I can already tell you that it's never been my customer service. I go above and beyond for every single order I get. I'm always communicating. I make suggestions. I'm 100% on board with the customer and making sure that they're happy. In the University, North Charlotte area, I have not had much luck with tips. I either get really low tips or I get no tips at all. That's just my experience. Maybe you've had a different one. But for me, you can get a lot more orders consistently throughout the day, so you'll actually be able to take that order pay, which is around like $6, $7, sometimes $12, depending on how far you're gonna drive. Oh, that's another thing. When you see an order and it's like, oh, you've got like 3 items, but it's paying you $12, before you click on it, just automatically think that's probably because you're gonna be driving a little bit. That's usually what that extra pay is for something that's a small order. Back to the main video. Next tip, find the zones that do the best tips and that work for you. Because in my personal experience, the Marvin and Ballantyne, Weddington area, because there's money in that area, because of the types of people who live there, if you go a little bit above and beyond your extra polite, I've just noticed they seem to do a little bit extra tipping. I stick there personally because it's not too far from where I live. Now, you probably really want to know what are the hot spots. So as I've been shifting for a while now, over a year and a half, I've noticed that the Denver, Lowesville area is constantly on the app. A lot of the times it could be pharmacy orders, which keep in mind with pharmacy orders, I'm not sure if it's changed, but the customer can't tip you in the app. They have to send you Cash App or give you actual cash. So you're only going to get that order pay. But I've noticed that area has consistent orders. Same with the Lake Wiley, Lake Norman areas. They're consistently have something popping up, okay? The Ballantyne, Weddington, Matthews, even Mint Hill, those are kind of sporadic in my opinion. Best place in Charlotte to Shipt is Uptown Charlotte. And I say that because you will never not have an order. There's usually maybe like an hour tops where you're gonna be sitting around waiting for an order. Uptown Charlotte is incredibly consistent with the orders. Obviously, there's gonna be some days where it's just completely dead. Generally speaking, Uptown Charlotte's where you wanna be. Now, that all said, always remember Uptown Charlotte is a bunch of apartments. You have to deliver this to them. That means you gotta deal with parking. You gotta deal with door codes. You gotta deal with women running with their dogs. You gotta deal with the traffic. That is personally why I stay away from Uptown Charlotte. Next tip, take multiple orders. This is key, y'all, if you wanna actually make good money. There's been times when I was averaging $25 an hour working my full shift, okay? It's simply because I was taking multiple orders at a time. and I was making sure they were all in the same zone, the same area. You pick up 2-3 orders at a Target or at a Harris Teeter, obviously don't overkill yourself. Watch. Make sure you read. Don't just pick up the order because they're offering it to you. You could pick up 2 orders that both said you have to go shopping for 30 products. That's gonna take a long ass time. And if there's frozen products in there, you really don't wanna get into that mess, okay? Because you're really racing against the clock at that point. But if you find multiple orders that are in the same store, or like there's places in Ballantyne, a lot of shopping centers, they have like a Harris Teeter and they have a Target, or they have something combined. So you can pick up multiple orders, and make sure you pay attention to your time, the frozen foods, and don't dick around. Another extra little hint that I'm gonna throw in there is shop at Target. I believe Target owns Shipt. And because of that, when you look at your order while you're at Target, they actually give you the aisle number. So you can shop pretty easy. And it's nice to actually learn the layout of these stores. Like, I know how a Harris Teeter is built up and down. I know how a Target's built up and down now. I know how Publix is built. And I still struggle with some of them because they're quite confusing in just the way that they place their groceries. But a lot of times, you learn a lot about these places and you start getting much, much quicker. The last tip that I have about Shipting in Charlotte: have fun. Don't have an anxiety attack and get stressed out when you're not getting any orders. Enjoy the time that you have. Learn something on your phone. Maybe turn your car off. Step outside, get some fresh air. Go walk into the store that you're parked at. Whatever you got to do, just enjoy your time. I noticed that the more that I took this super serious, the more I would panic and just be like, oh, I'm going to head home now because nothing's happening and I don't want to waste my time in my day. Then by the time that I get home, I left right before it started happening. I can't tell you how many times that happened to me. I would get so impatient and get so upset that I wasn't getting anything that I would go home and all of a sudden all the orders start rolling in. So that's really all I have for you guys today. I just want to throw a few little hints and tips out there to maybe make your shifting experience a little better. So if you're out in Charlotte, North Carolina, I wish you all the best, and I hope God blesses you with many, many orders and excellent tips. Till next time, ladies and gentlemen, have a blessed one.
I was lying to myself. Blame it all on my mental health. Blame it all on my mental health. Blessed is he